Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have some interesting, great news. I want to say great news, but it is quite interesting. Now, some of these things may be repeated from Temple or whatever, but trust me, it will definitely be my own opinion and all that sort. It's just how so happens. I may be actually thinking this is potentially true. Obviously, there's no proof of this, but it seems kind of sketchy that this kind of happened the way it did. So we have a lot of issues here, including NATO being a part of some type of research investigation and stuff like that. So there's a lot of weird things going on. But apparently, the Baltic Forum Stream 1 and 2 pipelines have done a leak, or rather, they exploded, or sabotage. And that's what we're going to go over today. Fears of sabotage as gas pours into Baltic from Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. Gas is pouring into the Baltic Sea from three separate leaks on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines amid claims by seismologists in Sweden and Denmark of two sharp spikes in undersea activity, possibly indicating explosions and speculation about sabotage. By the way, we will probably find this out. You probably don't understand this, but this is from the Russia pipelines, which had all these connections and stuff like that. Seismograph on the Danish island of Bornholm near the leaks occurred twice. Recorded spikes on Monday, the day on which the Nord Stream 1 and 2 and gas pipelines underwent dramatic falls in pressure. The German Geological Research Center (GFC) said. A Danish military over the leaks brought back striking images from the ruptures, including one showing an area of bubblings as a kilometer wide on the sea surface. The seismograph recorded near silence until just after midnight GM 2 a.m. local time, when there was a spike representing a tremor in the earth, followed by a continuous hissing wave form. The pattern was repeated at 5 p.m. GMT. That seems kind of odd, doesn't it, folks? Amid the speculation over sabotage, a suspicion immediately turned to potential culprits with fingers pointed at Russia, whose pipelines were hit, suggesting a further weaponization of energy supplies to Europe in the midst of conflict in Ukraine. Now, at least it was seen as a possible message about the vulnerability of the marine gas infrastructure. Now, this is weird specifically because of the fact that why would Russia sabotage their own advantage and stuff like that as well? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Again, something that Temple has said, but yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense why Russia would sabotage its own lead or its own resource of being able to get oil and stuff like that, because it has only great benefits. I mean, if they really wanted to do anything, they could have just shut down the pipeline to Europe, which they have done before. It hasn't done well in this sense at all. So, in terms of for Europe, so they could have just done that. So I don't see why they would do that to themselves and harm themselves in the process. See, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And we're going to get more into this because it's quite interesting on how this really plays out. There are some indications that it is deliberate damage. You have to ask who would profit when your breaking security source told Reuters. The GFC declined to be drawn on whether the tremors recorded could have been the result of an explosion, but scientists at the research center ruled out the possibility that the leaks could have been caused by earthquakes. So it's not by earthquakes. What else could it be by? There was a spike and then regular noise. The GFC spokesperson Joseph Zen said, "We cannot say if that could be the gas streaming out." Now we also don't know if the Ukraine is also trying to cover up what the U.S. did as well. There is no guarantees or understanding of who did this, but we also don't know if Ukraine is also covering up for the U.S. So we'll see exactly what is happening. Again, we're gonna have more information here for you. As a seismologist quoted by the Swedish television suggested the activity may have been the result of explosions. Björn Lund, director of the Swedish National Seismic Network (SNN), which measures Swedish earthquakes and explosions, told the SVT television channel that the event, one of which registered a magnitude of 2.3, may have been caused by undersea detonations. You can clearly see how the waves bounce from the bottom to the surface. There is no doubt that it was a blast. We even had a station in Gonzo that picked this up," said Lund, who else lectures in seismology plus the university. Now they're saying they say it's not from earthquakes. So we'll have to wait and see on how much more information comes out if it's really truly by an earthquake. Earlier, the Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said sabotage could not be excluded. Meanwhile, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov called the news very concerning and said that no option can be ruled out right now, including sabotage. This is a very concerning news, he added, calling for a prompt investigation. Indeed, we're talking about some damage of an unclear nature to the pipeline in Denmark's economic zone, which By the way, I just want to let you guys know, if the U.S. has anything to do with this at all, it could spell World War III easily for Russia and maybe even China. So, because as we see, Russia and China have been colluding with themselves. So, or with each other, rather. And if this comes out to be the U.S., this could be very much a World War III problem, and then it will be just much more worse onto why we would have Biden as a president. This is not good, guys. This is not good at all. So, we'll continue this. I think we'll probably go through this full article. This is going to be a long video, guys, because we need to go exactly what's going on here. You guys need to know exactly what's going on so we can see or how trustworthy our presidency is and what's truly going around the world in this aspect. This can affect us too, honestly. The steel pipe itself has a wall of 1.6 inches and is coated with steel reinforced concrete up to 7 cm thick. Each section of the pipe weighs 11 tons, which goes to 24 to 25 tons after the concrete is applied. I would also believe this is the reason why this is to deal with the immense amount of underwater pressure that is happening at the sea level, obviously. So there's also that too. Among those pointing to the war in Ukraine was the Polish Prime Minister Morawiecki, again, don't know how to pronounce these names, who was speaking at the opening of a new gas pipeline between Norway and Poland. Today we face an act of sabotage. We don't know all the details of what happened, but we clearly see what that is an act of sabotage related to the next step of escalation of the situation in Ukraine, Morawiecki said. Poland's foreign minister was forthright, suggesting that the damage could be an act of provocation on behalf of the Kremlin. Sadly, our eastern partner is constantly pursuing an aggressive political course, the deputy foreign minister, Marcin Protecki's, English and Russian, said in Warsaw. If it is incapable of an aggressive military course in Ukraine, then it's apparent that acts of provocations in Western Europe are also going to be rolled out. Also, this going to be not just Russian, but Polish. Again, I am not great on foreign languages and stuff like that, so I think, guys, I apologize to anybody that's Polish or whoever is watching this stuff, because it's not my fault. I am just terrible with other languages. Hell, I'm not even great with my own language. A senior Ukrainian official also called it a Russian attack to destabilize Europe without giving proof. British services said they believed it may not be possible to determine what occurred with certainty. One UK insider rested speculated that any explosions were unlikely to have been caused by a submarine or underwater vehicle. Because their presence would have been detected in the relatively shallow Baltic waters, sections of the pipelines are between 80 meters and 1,100 meters deep. An alternative scenario could be that mines were dropped from disguised commercial vessels days or weeks ahead of the attack. They were remotely detonated to cause the explosions. But the latter scenario was entirely hypothetical, they stressed. The day of drama began when the Danish Energy Agency said it had found the leaks on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline northeast of the island of Bornholm, and then a third in the Nord Stream 2 pipeline in Swedish waters southeast of the island. This is not a small crack, it's really a big hole, the energy agency said. Underlining the significance of the event, Javier Plaz, an energy and a commodities commentator for Bloomberg, described the undersea gas pipelines in the region as one of Europe's most important strategic assets. The subsea pipelines leading North Sea gas fields and then Norway, with the rest of the continent and the UK, are among the most strategic assets right now for Europe. High time for maximum protection, cyber attacks against energy assets are a key risk for Europe, Plaz tweeted. A 5-mile exclusion zone for shipping has been set up around Bornholm, and flights below 1,000 meters have been banned in the area. Methane, the primary component of natural gas partially dissolved in water, is not toxic and creates no hazard when inhaled in limited quantities. Breakage of gas pipelines is extremely rare, Danish authorities said in a statement. Therefore, we see reason to raise preparedness level as a result of the incidents we have seen over the past 24 hours. Again, still more information coming out. I will try to keep track of this as much as possible to see what's going on. Nordstream AG, the pipeline operator, had on Monday morning reported an unexpected overnight drop of pressure from 105 to 7 bar in Nord Stream 2, which is filled with gas but was canceled by Olaf I'm going to say Olaf. That's better. The German chancellor, shortly before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a further drop of pressure was reported on Monday afternoon in Nord Stream 1, which Russia shut down indefinitely at the start of September, initially saying it needed repairs. With 3 separate leaks almost simultaneously, with some distance between them, it was difficult to imagine it was a random accident. Verskin said at a short press conference during a visit to Poland, where she was participating in the opening of the Baltic Pipe gas pipeline. Nominal sources in German government circles also said that simultaneously of the 3 leaks made an accident unlikely, our imagination cannot come up with a scenario which isn't a deliberate attack. A person involved in the investigation told the German daily Der Spiegel. Well, yeah, well, again, not good at it. The news magazine Der Spiegel, quoting government sources, said officials were not ruling out sabotage, assigned to cause further uncertainty on Europe's energy markets. Since no gas has flowed through either of the pipelines since the start of the month, German authorities have been quick to reassure people that the leaks will not affect its plan to fill gas storage tanks in time for winter. Environmental NGOs said the leaks were likely to cause large-scale damage to the environment as soon as methane and gas rises from the surface of the atmosphere will massively contribute to the greenhouse effect, said Sasha of the pressure group Environmental Action. Now, that's pretty much it. Now, we have here, with specifically Biden saying, if Russia invades Ukraine, there will be no Nord Stream 2, Biden says. Now, I'm going to immediately jump into that actual clip of what Biden is saying, and it's pretty damning, if I do say so myself.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that? Exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Well, that's not looking too great, now is it? That's kind of sketch. Again, we can't prove whether or not the Biden administration has done this, right? We don't necessarily have proof. However, that is not looking very good onto the Biden administration at all after he said that really February this year. So, I mean, it's not looking good, guys. I mean, if we have actually done this, it could spell World War III. It's not good. So, again, no evidence. However, we do have this to where it pertains to Baltops 22, a perfect opportunity for research and testing new technology. Exercise Baltic operations as the premier maritime focused exercise in Baltic region began June 5th, 2022 in the Baltic Sea. Joe Biden said it on February, and now on June 5th, they began exercises on June 5th in the Baltic Sea, with a significant focus on Baltops every year being the demonstration of NATO mine hunting capabilities. The U.S. Navy continues to use the exercise as an opportunity to test emerging technology. Baltops is an ideal location for conducting mine hunting experimentation to the region's unique environmental conditions such as low salinity and very bottom tops. It is also critical to evaluate emerging mine hunting UUV technology in the Baltics due to its applicability with allied and partner nations. So they've been doing some interesting stuff as well, and this is not really all that great to be hearing, honestly. And at the issue is that the Bank of England fails to reassure markets after pound plunge, which that doesn't seem very good. Which could also indicate to us having control over Europe or something along those lines, or what have you, because we can just open stuff up and give them gas, whatever. Because technically, if we want to actually support Europe or any of the UK or what have you, we could just open up our own gas pipelines, right, from Alaska or what have you, and then supply them stuff, which will make them reliant on us, or more reliant on us. We have this here. It's the worst ever collapse of the pound, but far from the first. Here's a look back at the biggest sterling shocks all the way back to 1971. Since the pound sterling first went into free float in 1971, no event has sent Britain's currency lower than the mini budget announcement by the new Chancellor of the Exchequer, Kwasi Kwarteng, Friday. I don't know how to pronounce that at all. The pound fell 5% to an all-time low of $1.03 on Monday morning as financial markets extended a sell-off of UK assets following the new tax cuts unveiled by the UK's recently appointed finance minister. The tax cuts are a part of new Prime Minister Liz Truss's bold new spending plans to drag the economy out of a recession as she pursues a growth rate of 2.5% in the medium term while borrowing $45 billion to $49 billion to do so. Friday suggests UK bond and currency MTK sell-off in 35 years. Oh well, it's not going good. Traders are now pricing UK interest rates to rise above 5.75%. This would be very painful. More on why in this thread. Billionaire investors are now better on UK interest rates, top 6% by the first half of next year. You can see the expectations rising literally by the minute. So, again, the UK is not in a good position right now in terms of their actual pound. So, there's a lot of conspiracies going on and a lot of speculation, but, I mean, we can probably assume one on the instance of why Biden may have done this. So, we don't have proof, but there's a lot of stuff indicating that Biden may have done this, and I'm hoping that he didn't for our sake, so we don't have to potentially engage in a world war, but it's not seeming good, guys. It's not seeming good. Alright, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.